Hello. Today I want to talk about birth psychology, which includes prenatal, meaning before birth, perinatal, the period around birth, and epigenetic trauma. So basically what kind of shock and trauma gets stuck in the attachment field with our parents, grandparents, their parents, and grandparents. Back 14 generations it's been studied. Now, I think it's more than that. But I want to talk about how emotions are a portal to healing, because emotions are timeless and our body holds shock on our nervous systems until we have a witness in order to metabolize it. So it's interesting that when something happens to us as a child, let's just go with developmental trauma, which is things that happen in relational development, childhood nervous system development, how our nervous system prunes itself about what it prioritizes, what it needs, what we don't need, what we need to keep. So let's say that a child is parentified and expected to run the family or take over adult responsibilities. Let's say it's 6 years old. A little girl has an experience where a major caregiver goes away or stops being part of her family. And the other caregiver gives her more responsibilities. That's a shock to the child's development, and she might make up all kinds of things about her life, her value, what she brings to the world. And that decision, out of necessity at 6 years old, continues throughout her life. And she comes into my office, virtual now, in her 40s or 50s or 30s, sometimes the 20s. And she's like, I don't know why I have to take care of everyone. I have no boundaries. I don't know how to take care of myself. And that's me condensing maybe sometimes years of work to realize that. And it goes back to this 6-year-old experience where she was elevated into the parent unit, which is up here. The child unit is down here. The children are supposed to develop at their own pace, at their own rate, appropriately in their development, but in the parental unit, somebody leaves. So that leaves a void, and she floats into the parental unit as a backup parent or backup caregiver. But when a child is parentified, for instance, it feels really heady, really like, ooh, I'm important. Ooh, I have control over my siblings. Oh, I can take care of people. And it gives them a sense of control. It also is falsely empowering. And so she goes along with that. It's really hard once a child moves into the parental unit to go back to the child unit. Her feelings get stuck in shock, like frozen on her nervous system. And until they're tapped into in a regulated, attuned, present context, the healing energy field of, say, with a counselor or therapist, she doesn't even know they're there. It's not like she's consciously operating from that, even though it feels like she has to in some respect. Now, I want you to take this example and put it into a gestational model. So in the prenatal period, something as impactful as a caregiver leaving, think about how that might create in the neonate, in the baby in utero, create a sense of safety or not in the world and their place in the world, which can also be accessed through emotions. Now, think about how this might occur when her grandmother was 6 years old. And the same, and what the example that I gave you happened to her grandmother. So now you're getting an idea of prenatal trauma and perinatal trauma being passed down through generations, which the recent movies of Turning Red and Encanto have been attempting to tackle. Generational trauma, for instance. So I just wanted to speak about that. I spoke into my Otter app before I got ready for the day because I'm going to get groceries. And I'm like, wait a minute, this needs to be said, because I had a question on Facebook. Well, what do you do about it? I know that my mother had some trauma during my pregnancy, the pregnancy with me, but what do you do about it? Well, emotions are the portal to healing. I believe emotions are closer to spirituality, which means that they're outside of space and time. And also, well, I like to say they're outside the space-time continuum. But also, there's an opportunity for healing at all the levels. I follow the body, teaching my clients to breathe, teaching them to notice what's happening in their body, and giving voice to it in a way that is paced and customized based on them, what they can manage or handle or ready for, in a gentle space that is co-created. The field, the energy field that we co-create when they invite me to help them. And I become the present adult in their life that might have been missing when the thing happened, because there was a sense of survival that takes over. And many of us can understand how immigration or natural disasters or war affects generations. So I just wanted to give that message of hope that it can heal. It doesn't have to be there forever. And my clients see their world differently. They experience their adulthood more wholly. And it's an ongoing, it continues to unfold, sort of like a flower continues to unfold. And working with women means it's exponential because they share with their friends, their children and grandchildren. They're new. They grow new neural pathways, just so you know. And they continue to expand, absorb, metabolize this shock and the experience. Once they feel it in an attuned relational field, they never can unfeel it. So I do like to say with counseling, there's a disclaimer: you can't unsee what you see. But more than that, you can't unfeel in your body what you feel as true for you. Your body goes, oh, thank you. Someone was able to be with that hurt or that pain or that experience in a way that their major caregivers were not able to be because they were surviving. So that's my message for today. Have a good day. Thanks for listening.